Without further ado, let's talk about the main event.
Let's do it.
Justin Gaethje and James Vick, obviously. So Justin Gaethje makes it now 4 for 4 on card placement or ideal card placement scenarios. You got the debut in the main event with Michael Johnson, then the Ultimate Fighter show with Alvarez, headlines on Fox against Poirier, and now here we are again headlining in the middle of America against James Vick. What do you think? You obviously kind of shed some light on what you think about the fight a little bit ago. From the adverse view of things, what do you see being the key to if Justin Gaethje is going to get his hand raised?
I mean, he knows no other way than just to pressure forward, leg kicks, overhand, right? I mean, he's just, I don't want to say he's a one-trick pony because he's not, but he's too tough for his own good, and he banks on himself, or he banks on that getting the keys to victory. And he's well aware of the consequences. I think, in fact, I'm sure before the Johnson fight, like when he was debuting in the UFC, he was like, "Look, it's only a matter of time until someone knocks me out." So he was well aware of, the dangers his style, the threats that it possesses, but also aware of the danger that could cause to him. It's a help and it's a hindrance, really, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. He's just got to do it, and it sounds like I'm saying he's got to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. But in some form or fashion, that's it, right? That's exactly what he's got to do. He's got to just play his game and then hope that it pays off. And it almost paid off against Eddie Alvarez, and it did pay off against Michael Johnson. It was back and forth. He was rocked several times in that fight, but
it really almost paid off against Poirier too.
Sure, yeah, right. He knows no other style, and he's just got to just keep going with that, I guess. I mean, there is no other way. He's not going to suddenly be pulling guard and throwing up all these different submissions. He's not going to turn into Damian Maia or anything like that. So pressure, strikes, especially he loves that leg kick, doesn't he?
Dude, I could make a very cohesive case that Justin Gaethje is one of the most deadly leg kickers in the history of the sport. I'm not talking right now. I'm talking like ever.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. He can finish people with leg kicks. We've seen that before. We've seen it with the likes of Barbosa. They put so much torque into it. There's just the whole hip that's followed through. Everything's into that kick.
But what's weird with Gaethje is like he throws that shit kind of like while he's inside the pocket. Unlike, Barbosa, where he's trying to stay and keep his distance and hammer your legs from far away, Gaethje will literally throw leg kicks while in the clinch.
Oh yeah. He likes. That's the kind of area he likes to be in. Yeah, you're right about Barbosa. He's doing it and keeping the distance. Gaethje will do it and maybe follow up with something or like put punches on the end of his kicks. So it's not just the leg kicks that is coming. No, it can be too. But yeah, he's in that. He's in that range of the dirty boxing range. That's where he excels, and that's where he puts himself at a massive risk, man. And I mean, it's a gamble. It's a total gamble to get him to win.
It is a gamble, man. And to be honest with you, what tells me the story in bunches, I'm pulling up the official metric of it right now. What told me the greater portion of the story with Justin Gaethje as a fighter, not in any specific instance or whereabouts or whose situation. What told me more than anything else about Justin Gaethje as a fighter was in between rounds 1 and 2 against Poirier. When you're watching it on Fox in the States, they don't have corner audio in between rounds because they got to go to commercial. Right. But when I watched the fight back, because like that's one of those fights that I had such a great time watching. The day that it became available on Fight Pass, I ran it back, and I noticed in between rounds after, may I mind you, Dustin Poirier had just landed 63 significant strikes on Mr. Gaethje in one round. Gaethje goes to Whitman in his corner. He goes, "Do we think I won that round?" And Whitman kind of looks at him like he's nuts. Like Whitman kind of looks at him like, "Yeah," and he goes, "Doesn't matter. You're gonna break him anyway." And Gaethje's like,
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, he's not playing for any decision, then, that's his style.
Dude, does it seem like he kind of like was seeing the light for a second? Because he's an NCAA Division I wrestler, man. He could have his way with guys on the ground, and he just wants to have wars.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the highlight? The highlight reel, whatever his nickname is. Yeah, he's living the gimmick. If this is pro wrestling, he's living the gimmick, right? That's just what he's all about. Good for him, man. I love it. We all love it. Who doesn't love watching Justin Gaethje fight? You know what I mean?
It is good for him, and I do love it. As a person, though, if you knew him personally and like you considered him a close friend, what do you think it would take? And let's say Gaethje goes out there and we have another fight of the year candidate once again in an absolute back and forth slugfest, and Vick just barely edges him out. What do you think it's going to take for someone in his corner to kind of be like, dog, you wrestled for free college at a Division I institution? Why do you not use that?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone can have that conversation with him. He's wrapped up in own self, and like I said, man, it's a help, but it's also a hindrance. And that time will come. It sounds like there's a tragedy going to come. I mean, God, I hope not. But with that kind of style, man, it's going to be glorious victory or glorious failure, and it's one way or the other.
And maybe glory is all that matters, man. I love it too, bro. To be honest,
you can't not love it.
No. So let's look at it from both of these guys' perspective, and we'll move on to the co-main event. Let's say hypothetically, Justin Gaethje gets his hand raised. Justin Gaethje will, as I said previously, have the 3 fights that he did, with the main event in his debut against Michael Johnson, the Ultimate Fighter casting with Eddie Alvarez on the main card of a pay-per-view, and then the Poirier fight on Big Fox, and now this main event. So 3 out of his first 4 UFC fights being main events. And let's say Gaethje gets his hand raised and improves to 2-2 inside the octagon and keeps himself right kind of in the thick of things inside the top 10 at lightweight. Looking back on his first 4 fights, Johnson, Alvarez, Poirier, and Vick, if he were to get his hand raised, how would you initially describe Gaethje's first 4 fights in the UFC if he comes out of it 2-2?
Oh, if he walks away with a W, phenomenal. I mean, Justin Gaethje's a peculiar one because look at what we've spoken about with him. It's not like we're talking about, although you did bring it up, but what we're ultimately talking about is performance, the glory and all the rest of it. So W's or L's, it's almost like they're inconsequential when you describe a man like Justin Gaethje, what you remember him for is, did they get his hand raised or did they not? I mean, I suppose it counts. It does count for something. Of course, it does. When
50K counts for something too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. 50 G's goes a long way. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, Blake, how do you assess him? Win, lose or draw? He's of the modern era of MMA. He's one of the greats. You know what I mean? He's probably the most exciting fighter style wise since, I don't know, Diego Sanchez springs to mind. That crazy style, but it's not crazy and wild, but it is. It's wild, but like you said, he's got the wrestling background. He's not just a guy like how many times you hear Goldberg going rock 'em, sock 'em, robots. I mean, he does have that style, but it has legitimacy behind him as well. He's a complete martial artist who loves the brawl, who loves the bang. I love the bang, bro. And it's how would you assess him, man? He's golden. He's golden, man.
Yeah, man. I would say if Justin Gaethje were to come out, I'm gonna see how quickly how quickly I can get this stat added up in my head. So we got 174 significant strikes dealt to him against Poirier.
Jesus.
We have 155 significant strikes dealt to him from Alvarez. So you do the math, 274, 329. And then obviously he took a lick. He took a lick against Johnson too. It's 320. Oh, only 91. Well, I mean, that fight ended early.
Only.
So we're looking at roughly 400 or so significant strikes that he has been dealt.
Yeah.
Before even walking into the octagon.
Well, that's it. That's what I was going to say. That's just in the fights. What about the sparring? I mean, you got to imagine that guy spars hard. He's not going light. You know what I mean? Like that's 400 inside the octagon and the rest. You know, in and around training camps and Christ, man, you're probably talking in the thousands, right?
Did you know that fight didn't even win fight of the night? His fight with Michael Johnson. He won performance of the night. Yeah, I'm looking at
who won fight of the night?
Trying to see. That was the Ultimate Fighter 25 finale. Oh, wow. So they won fight of the night and he won performance of the night. So he took home $100K.
Good for you, Gaethje. Quite right. Yeah, because we did our end of year award show and that was the fight of the year. That's what we
that was my fight of the year as well.
Yeah, man. That's what there was votes for Alvarez and there was votes for what was the one? Your man from Hawaii. Sorry, sometimes the names escape me. Yancy Medeiros and
Cowboy Oliveira.
That's the one. Yeah. So that was in there as well. But yeah, we gave it to Johnson Gaethje. But I mean, Gaethje insert name here would have done. You know what I mean?
Totally, bro. Totally. And that fight and Gaethje Alvarez were both at UFC 218, which I was in attendance for. It was pretty nuts. And like the Overeem and Ngannou cardboard stiffening was there too. It was a crazy event. So moving on to talk about James Vick, you know, a guy like James Vick who is not a lightweight, if we're going to be honest with you, dude is huge. What do we see potentially in the cards for him if he were to get his hand raised? Because I'm just like you, and we'll go through predictions towards the end. I'm all in on James Vick in this matchup for a number of reasons. But, you know, he's been saying in pressers, he's been saying in interviews, look, once I get my hand raised, it's no more bullshit. I'm ready to call some people out. Yeah. Who do you think's on the tip of his tongue? I got a couple of ideas.
He's in the mix if he gets the W, which I suspect he will. You got to look at who's in that picture: Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee. Those are names that come to mind.
Come to mind immediately.
Yeah, it's that top 5 region. You know what I mean? He's right in that mix. That perennial, you know, title contender. That's the next level for him for sure. Top 5, I guess.
And if he would improve to 10-1 in the UFC lightweight division, I mean,
10-1, wow.
10-1 in what my opinion is there's a difference between the deepest and the most stacked with talent. And I think the UFC's lightweight division is the most stacked with talent. I would say welterweight is probably the deepest, but like once you get to the top 20, 25 guys at lightweight, they're all killers. Literally all of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's no easy fights. I mean, even people that are, you know, coming in and out, the likes of Khabib, McGregor, Diaz, all these guys, man. All these guys are monsters.
Like Gregor Gillespie doesn't hasn't fought a ranked opponent at all. And I don't think I've ever seen Gregor Gillespie in any type of adversity for a second. And that guy hasn't even fought a ranked opponent yet.
Right, exactly. So yeah, there you go. Tells you exactly all you need to know about 155, right?